Toyota brand, once synonymous with top quality, reliability, and safety, has been lately fighting for its reputation after its massive recalling in US, Europe, and China for various mechanical problems. From the time when the first announcement was made on November 2, 2009, over 9 million vehicles worldwide was recalled by Toyota. Toyota's case provides us a number of undoubtedly lessons for corporations and the business management level to consider, and undoubtedly the organizational failures are related with its management, structure, culture, and value. Toyota was less prepared for and lost the initiative to manage the crisis from the very beginning, and they failed to respond to the potential problem, which later escalated into an out-of-control crisis. Toyota's highly centralized management system hindered itself from responding to the crisis quickly and efficiently. Also, Toyota have ignored or minimized thousands of earlier reports of sudden acceleration in its vehicles, and neglected complaints from customers, which gave room for the big crisis to expand. Finally, Toyota lost focus in quality by its own rapid global expansion and failed to effectively respond in time to the crisis when it was emerging.
Crisis management can be on the it already happened and we're cleaning up the mess, or it can be before anything happens so that you're prepared. So the likelihood of something actually going kerflooey is very slim. And if it does, you've got all of your ducks in a row so you can handle it. Crisis management strategy already in place could be in very, very big trouble. Recently on the internet, there were quite a few big name companies that shall remain nameless to protect the innocent that really got hit pretty hard because they did not have crisis management in place. They did not have a fast reaction time, and the internet can get out whatever your blunder was. It'll go viral if it's interesting enough to the general public instantaneously. So if you're an existing business, you have to have crisis management strategies in place, and you have to have a team that's prepared to look at what's going on with our company and how can we react to something that we weren't prepared for. So that's why you have to have that.
In year 2009, auto industry had experienced a major downturn. Two biggest global automobile makers, GM and Toyota, both had major crises. GM filed for bankruptcy protection in June, and 5 months later, Toyota started a series of massive recalls. Based on the comparison analysis of GM and Toyota's crisis, we found that two companies experienced similar barriers for organizational learning. Firstly, both companies avoided facing reality that they had major problems within their organizations. Instead of admitting such problems' existence, the top managements in both organizations were in denial. Secondly, they all blamed for external factors at the beginning of the crisis. This severely undermined their ability to adopt double-loop learning. Thirdly, their previous competencies become a source of rigidity, which largely prevented them from proactively adopting effective crisis and change management. Lastly, as big international organizations, both GM and Toyota feared of radical changes that could be overly complex, costly, and change their organization's core value, culture, and competency.
The main issue facing Toyota in this crisis is one of sacrificing core competencies by supporting conflicting values within the organization. Toyota's biggest strength has always been their quality. They developed this value into a core competency that in turn permeated the entire organization. This competency was enshrined in a document called the Toyota Way. As of late, the company has begun promoting values of efficiency and cost cutting. This propelled the growth of Toyota, but did so at the cost of their core competency of quality. This strategy, called the Construction of Cost Competitiveness 21, shifted the culture from one that focused on quality to one focused on efficiency. This strategy propelled Toyota from a smaller Japanese manufacturer to the top vehicle manufacturer in the world. This growth was unsustainable, however, and created the crisis that they now face. On top of this, their CEO lacked leadership to bring Japan's symbol of success through the storm. That gave the United States government their opportunity to publicly attack Toyota to support their now nationalized domestic vehicle production system.
Based on the understanding of the crisis that was analyzed, we will now look at 3 recommendations Toyota can choose to implement to help alleviate some of their problems. The first recommendation is to develop a standardized product recall plan. With the maintained plan, the company can respond more quickly to potential recalls in the future. The motivation displayed to constantly operate effectively will also project a positive image to consumers and provide reassurance of the quality and safety of Toyota's automobiles. The second recommendation is to develop a multi-domestic strategy that allows decision-making in key distribution areas. This decentralization can increase the operational process flexibility by avoiding the time constraints associated with hierarchical decision-making. The decisions will more accurately reflect the needs and conditions of each key market, increasing the company's competitive response to individual requirements. The final recommendation for Toyota is to rethink their corporate culture and make some adjustments in the values and beliefs top management holds. Toyota must move forward and accept change rather than holding on to past operational views that did bring success but are now becoming outdated with today's changing environment. Embracing feedback and not overlooking information they receive from consumers and industry indicators will help overcome the company's rigidity they have built. Understanding the responses from the environment will help direct the company towards important goals, such as product value assurance. This in turn can help Toyota get back on track to rebranding its image and marketing it to its full potential. In summary, Toyota needs to be more proactive towards critical issues by breaking their hierarchical barriers and increasing operational efficiency. Giving more autonomy and trust to regional managers bridges the divide between decision-making and execution.
The implementation of any recommendations is a key aspect and key component of implementing the recommendations to a company. The implementation of the recommendations will allow the company to get the full potential from the recommendations. All of the recommendations that we decided upon will give the company opportunity to change. However, the recommendations that we have implemented will have drastic changes to the company. So this means that we will have to adapt these and implement these recommendations over a long period of time. Toyota should implement a resolution method when dealing with the crisis so they can learn and be prepared for future crises. These particular changes should be implemented first by the managers of a company to understand how to use the resolution method when dealing with crisis. This should also be incorporated with the concept of learning and the importance of learning. This leads to the development of a new corporate culture, where learning is key. In many companies like Toyota, it is very important to be open to learning and the importance of developing new ways of doing business in an ever-changing industry such as the automotive industry. Once the managers fully understand and accept the resolution method, it should be introduced to the regular employees so they can incorporate the method into their everyday jobs. In order to effectively be able to deal with change in a global company, it is important to have certain business functions to become more independent. This particular concept is concerned with the company having more decentralized areas in the company. This particular process will take a long period of time since the organizational culture is more centralized, and it will take a long period of time for people to adapt to the more decentralized business model. Our last recommendation was to institute a new company culture. This particular recommendation will take a long time to implement, and it will be an ongoing process. Company culture is at the heart of the business model. In order to change company culture, it will have to start in small stages and introducing new ways of doing simple tasks.